Our next story comes to us from right here in Washington, D.C., where officials have come up with an innovative program that embraces the talents of local graffiti artists.
VOA's Julie Taboh has seen this public beautification program firsthand. Take a look.
Like many cities, DC has a graffiti problem. You have people who come in and paint on walls, on buildings, public and private. Normally what happens is they go in and they whitewash it over and over again, and it's costing taxpayers a lot of money. And so what they've done is they have these workshops and people learn how to do graffiti art, and they commission them to a wall, usually with a master artist, a lead artist who's experienced. And in about 5 to 7 days, depending on the size of the project, they'll have a complete mural done for a lot less money than it would have cost the city to keep coming and whitewashing it over and over again. The workshop is part of a program called Murals DC that city officials have created to overcome their graffiti problem. After 10 weeks of training, most of the students worked with Eric Ricks to create a vibrant, one-of-a-kind mural on a wall which was once defaced with graffiti.
And this is a very diverse group of artists, too. Tell us about some of the places that these artists come from.
Well, Eric Ricks, who was the main feature of our story, comes from Liberia. He fled the Civil War. He's been in this country since he was 14 years old. There's also Aniakan Udofia, who comes from Nigeria. And he, too, has a similar story where he has come to this country and found a great way of having his art expressed. And he's done many murals in the city. He's one of the actually best known muralists in town. And he's also conducted workshops in the past, and he really feels that this is a way of getting the message across to these young people that you don't have to do it under cover of darkness, you don't have to do it illegally. Come and let your work be seen and be praised and paid for it.
Now, you got the chance to spend a good amount of time with Eric Ricks. Tell us about him and your time with him.
Eric is a very special person. I mean, here's someone who really finds the opportunities given to him here to be the American story, the American dream.
Being an immigrant, I have to say, man, I am truly living the American dream because it's the only place I can think of that I've ever been that you could take something so off the cuff like graffiti and turn that into something that you can live off.
He told me on camera and off camera that he never believed that he could actually be a graffiti artist and be praised for his work, recognized for his work, paid for his work, and also be a mentor to other children and young aspiring artists.
And what about your time with him? What do you think you took away from the experience?
Oh, he was so passionate, it's contagious. Just spending time with him, and especially the cameraman, Mike Cornelli, who spent time with him, because what Mike did is he set up a GoPro camera. Every day he'd go out there and set up the camera, and every evening he'd go and retrieve the camera. And each time he went, he got to spend a little time with Eric and said he is just such a unique character. And he said he was often met with quite a lot of prejudice. People would call him N-word and a lot of racial slurs. And he said he would take that as an opportunity instead of getting upset to actually try to explain to people where he was from and talk about his art, talk about things that they found in common. And he said it was sort of a personal mission to, educate people and to rise above all that. And what he said, art kind of unifies us all. And his art really speaks to that. And this particular mural, he talks about these words: empathy, love, passion. And he says, I try to live by those words. And of course, this particular mural was dedicated to his daughter, whose face you'll see in the mural, who he has not seen in many years. But that's also, he said, my way of letting the world know I love her and care about her.
Yeah, so very much a labor of love doing this sort of thing. And for you and Mike as well, you spent a lot of time doing this story.
What Eric does is he sketches first. And then when he sketches, he starts the painting. He pretty much leads it, and then his apprentices come in and he will direct them as to what he wants them to do. So just to get to that point, it was a matter of weeks. And then once he started, then we were sort of on a roll. And over a course of about 10 days, give or take, we were able to, or he was able to get this terrific time lapse, very cool, from start to finish. And also spend a lot of time with the artists and the apprentices, who are very cool in their own way. Each of them has their own story.
Yeah, and I think the operative words there are very cool because it is such a cool program. So neat to be able to see in our spaces in our neighborhood these beautiful works of art. There's one that I love, which features President Obama, Bill Cosby, and some other prominent African Americans. It's right by a theater here in DC. I've gone a number of times, waiting there in line, admiring this art. It's great. You should check it out.
I need to check it out.